All right, so today is the 25th of September 2024. My name is Evan Strong. I am the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, a clothing company that is so much more than just a clothing company. We're a company that's founded on the teachings of Jesus Christ and how we are all universally designed in His image, our living God. When you can sit in an anatomy class and learn the skeletal system of the human body, and then it can apply to all people within our slight differences, which we recognize, surgeries, deformities, amputations, whatever it is, right? In the Image Clothing Company is about the skeletal system of the body. Okay, so me, since the start, I have had a few prerequisites, okay, which are to lace your shoes with the technique which is found within anywhere you find In the Image Clothing Company information, okay? It's a technique that I found, came up with through a lot of prayer, a lot of revelation, a lot of trial and error, a lot of figuring out to just allow the shoe that we wear to the design's best capability, because a lot of designs are stiff or size different, but to fit on your foot like a glove does on the hand, okay? And that lacing technique is paired with just tying your shoes even over toward the inside on both sides, okay, reinforcing that natural internal rotation traveling up the entire body. Pairing those lacing instructions with removing the tags from within your shoes, normally inside the tongues, up through all the clothing that you ever wear. And I've made videos personally, again, being the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, I've been the one that's made the videos on each and every one of those tags in their locations and what they universally do to the human being, to the human body, regardless of if you live on this continent, that continent, if you're this race, this gender, man, woman, wherever you are, okay? Universal truth is what I speak on. I try to leave all my opinions out of everything when it comes to what I talk about, you know, what In the Image Clothing Company is as far as the relationship between clothing and the human body. So it's all universal, right? At least we try our absolute best to keep it just universal truth rather than putting opinions out for the public. We can have our opinions, but it doesn't really matter to be trying to push them, at least on other people. We can share them, but right, truth is what we're about here. What's going on? Universal. So I talk about a lot of the time how within our designs of our pants In the Image Clothing Company, we will have the front of the pant waistline first. I always say what I've come to find, again, universally across humans, because it's about the skeletal system, pants need to sit up above the hips, all the way up off of the hip bones. And then I say they gotta be slightly higher in the front than in the rear, okay? Now with shirts, I always talk about how the seams on top need to sit behind the shoulders, and then the ones at the edges, this shirt is actually a little bit too big for me, okay? For the function of my body, because I show how you're trying to lift your arm, and if there's a seam in the way, you just can't. It needs to be out of the way, okay? So I'm gonna focus on pants in this video because if people are used to wearing pants that are actually almost always, unless you're pretty intentional about it, almost always nowadays, at least in 2024, pants are sitting lower in the front than the rear. And I've gone over that. A lot of it's because if you have a belt on the front, that's excess weight. If you have anything in your front pockets, that's excess weight. If you're lacing your shoes to press down your arches, they're going to go into external rotation. And external rotation, I've shown it in the grass and bare feet with my own personal body, is actually more of a closed off position, and we're always trying to get to internal rotation. I just don't want to go into too much depth of like body mechanics in this video because I have that, and you can find that where you find any of the videos from me. Look up In the Image Clothing Company, right? I've personally made these videos that I'm talking about. So right, well, and then also if you tie your shoes the same direction, which is actually uneven, you know, you're going to be in external rotation because you can't have a natural, healthy, gripped arch with good nails on the toes and internal rotation, posterior tuck of the pelvis traveling up your body if your feet aren't pointing the direction you're going. Again, things I've been over, showed the natural walking human gait cycle with my own body, barefooted in the grass, just in shorts and a t-shirt, so that you could really see universally how the human body, skeletal system wise, operates. Okay, so a lot of people won't really have even basically ever, except for, you know, the little kid. A lot of little kids' pants fit really good, at least even, sometimes higher in the front, as they should. But it's been, you know, at least years and years and years for most people since they've even worn pants that actually are at the proper angle, just for the workings of the human body. So within our designs at In the Image Clothing Company, we will have that always incorporated. Pants will always be above the hips. They will always be designed to sit slightly higher in the front than in the rear. Always. That's what it will always be. Because the human body's design and the way that it operates does not change. We're designed by our God. No matter what happens in the world or whatever we try to do, we can't change it. So, yeah, we can't change that. The reason why I'm making like a whole video on this is because I've already talked about where pants need to sit. But what I have also talked about is how I basically almost never sit. As far as like sitting down, I'm at a picnic table right now. I almost never do this, right? Rarely and occasionally I do. But normally I'm just standing from the time I wake up until I sleep at night, right? In the morning till the evening, I'm just on my feet. Because I always talk about how we're individually so much more capable, just about all of us, than we could even possibly imagine. Because if we're not in our natural positions, because we're being altered by, there's a table right here, I would go down, but yeah. The point is I don't stretch, right? I've made these bold claims. We shouldn't have to stretch unless something very major happens. We shouldn't have to work out or exercise to get to a capability level, because the human being from our living God is designed to operate within our own situations, right? So what I'm getting at is that even me, you can see all my videos up until today at least are date marked, as in me verbally speaking the date in the actual video. You can see how my body operates, and it's just, it works well, right? Nothing about me, but I just have allowed what has been designed, being my body, to do what it was designed to do through clothing, right? And allowing it to sit on the body where I show. And that's when I talk about In the Image Clothing Company being so much more than just a clothing company. I always talk about how you're not going to have to purchase our clothing for that to happen. I, again, me personally, have made these videos that I'm talking about here, the ones leading up to now, of free modifications you can do within your own clothing to let it work for your body, and just stay balanced and centered. The best that, you know, the designs that we've purchased can do. But I think it's very important to say and show that if I were to, being me now, have my pant waistline sitting even, right, but especially at all lower in the front than in the rear, then I wouldn't be able to stand the way that I can stand, as far as like all day. It's not, because it's not about me. It's not like I'm so strong and capable. No, I'm just designed as a human being is designed, and I, you know, the things that I'm allowing my body to do are available to everybody within their own situations, okay? So yeah, it's not about me, like, look how strong I am, what I've done. No. It's, I'm able to stand because we're designed to stand, right? I mean, I've talked about before how standing is actually a restful state. It's really what rest within the body means, is just something that is using very little energy. And when you're using the body in a position it's designed to work in, I did a whole video called The Body Only Has One Position, and I went in very great depth on that. But when you're using the body in a position it's designed to work in, then it's so efficient and it's doing it very well. But most people, when they're standing, they're wearing shoes, lacing is how I was discussing, there's tags within the tongues that their arch can't even activate. A lot of times the shape of the shoe even plays into it, the stiffness of the sole. Then if the pants are sitting on top of the feet, that's a similar thing, that arch will not be able to activate. Then if your waistline of the waistband of your pants is not sitting how I'm discussing in this video, then it's going to be altering your body. If your shoulder seams are too wide, even this shirt, like I said, is a little bit too wide for me. If your seams are sitting in front of your shoulders, if there's tags within the rear of your shirt or the rear of your pants, all these things just won't even allow you to stand. It's not like I'm so strong. It's that I just remove all these things that are altering my body. That's what we're about here, is minimal, right? I always talk about our clothing is going to be 100% natural and minimal. No logoing on the exterior at all. So that's another thing. If you got logos on your clothing, it's going to alter the way that the front versus the back reacts with your body and vice versa. So yeah, it's not about anything outside of what we're already designed to do within our own, right? I mean, like, let's say you only got one leg. All right, cool, you only got one leg, but you already know that and you're already doing what you're doing with that. Then that's your situation, that's fine. But if you're just somebody who feels like you should be able to stand better than you can, and it's like, why do I feel like I need to sit down all the time? Well, it's your clothes, and I've gone on into it very, very, very great depth. Again, undisputed truth of just what's happening, because the body only works the way it does, universally across all humans, within our differences, right? Very slight differences, and usually just in very specific cases. But what I'm getting at is that, no, I don't sit. Rarely ever. Right? Because it's actually uncomfortable to sit, because it's not a natural position. I've talked about, I did a whole video on that, just how sitting is not natural for the body, right? This stuff is not opinions of mine, it's just truth. But most people aren't in an actual, foundational, good working human position just the way that it's supposed to be, right? I wasn't for so long until I've done these things. So I guess the point is, I talk about how I don't want people to have to purchase our clothing, because I don't even know as of now when it will necessarily be available, right? Today, I told you today's date. It's not available yet today, but it will be. We will have minimal clothing. It will be what I've said it will be. It will. But the point is, even if we have clothing and it really does do for the body what it's going to do, because that's the only reason I'm going to design it, or whoever I bring on as designers to help me, it's the only reason we're going to have it, is to allow the body to work and stay meshing with natural materials as the body is. But I think the point is, within the Image Clothing Company being so much more than just that, I want us all to always have discussions on what we can do, how we can help people without them spending any kind of money, and how we can just, like I always say, just grow this community as big as we can, as broad as we can, just for the sake of allowing the body to work, because we did not design it. We shouldn't have to be adding things to it and supplementing it with things, and no, very specific cases, but we're designed to do what we're designed to do. We just have to allow it to happen. So I kind of want to just really focus on the fact that the reason I'm able to stand for so long is not me. It's just that my clothing is not restricting me, okay? When your pants are sitting where they should, okay, because we will have pants, like I said, they're going to be 100% natural. They're going to be a little bit different, but in a minimal way. They're going to be cool. But you don't need to buy them from us to have this happen, because I, up until today, haven't even worn any In The Image Clothing Company branded clothing or even designs from us. Like, I haven't up until today. So everything that I've done, and I've said this in other videos, is just through what I've modified, very, very slight, simple modifications in clothing that I've purchased, right? Other people's designs, other brands. A lot of them are pretty darn good, but they got a little slight tweak that they need in certain places, and I've shown how to do that freely. So when I say, because I don't want to make it sound like sounds a little bit egoic if you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm like, I don't even sit down, you guys are like, I'm not even gonna say that, but it's like, that's what it sounds like, as if I'm like accusing people, like, why are you sitting down all the time? Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you shouldn't have to. at least you have to sit so much less than you do now, because actually sitting is so unnatural that even right now, I mean, I've talked about how it's you got a center of gravity, right? That's, I always talk about the center line that humans have. It's not some belief. I think people really think that it's a belief. No, we live on an earth pulling us straight down with gravity. We have to be centered or else we'll fall, or we're just using muscles in ways they aren't designed to try to hold us up. I mean, it's that simple. There's no more to it. I mean, this stuff I talk about, again, it's truth. It's not something to push. So, and that's how it will always be in the Image Clothing Company. That's how it will always be, just universal truth. We're not here to try to convince anybody of anything. So the point with sitting down and pants and angles of where clothes sit, because that's really mostly what it is within designs, is angles. Sizing, right? And angles. Okay, as far as waistline angles, shoulder seams, I'd call that an angle. As far as if it's sitting in front of you, it'll put your shoulders here. But if it's sitting where it should, universal human design, behind the shoulders, then it'll put you here, right? Kind of like changes the angle of approach that the body has. And really the only way the body works is the way it was designed by our God to work. We can't tell it what to do. I can't, he can't, and she can't, meaning all humans ever. We cannot tell our bodies what to do. So, I've never given an exercise, never given a stretch, never given nothing, and I don't plan for in the Image Clothing Company to ever do that. Whether it's 100 years from now and I'm not running it or what. I don't plan for it to ever give any kind of exercise, any kind of stretch. Maybe suggestions on like things you can do, but not like you need to do this to stay capable. No, never. We will not be doing that. That is not what we need to do, because that's not what we need to do as a society, as a human race, to allow the body to work. Okay, so there are mosquitoes, but also the seat is not very comfortable, as I was discussing. So kind of shifting around a bit, but yeah, so it's not some kind of accusation. It's not some like, look what I've done, you guys should be as good as me. No. We all, within our own capabilities, will be able to stand so much longer. I talk about, it's not some sales pitch. I want to be so clear with all this stuff, especially at the very beginning. This company is just starting. I just founded in the Image Clothing Company like this week, okay? And I want to be very clear from the very start. These videos, as I call them, timeless videos, where hundreds of years from now, I mean, as long as this video is available to be accessed in some kind of way, hundreds of years from now, if even, right? Second coming might happen before then, no joke. Probably will. Probably will. But if we're still here in the same human fleshly form, I want people to be able to look back at this and be like, yeah, he founded this company, in the Image Clothing Company, let's say like hundreds of years back, as far as like today is what I'm talking about, right? This week is when it became official. But, and he still, the things he was saying still apply, because that's what I want it to be. I'm not pushing something. I don't have an opinion on something. I'm just saying, hey, this is how the body works. It's only designed the way it's designed. Human beings had been this way for, we've been the same. Human beings are human beings as far as they work the way they do. It's not going to change. So the stuff we talk about here, and that's why it's going to be cool when we do have podcasts. Podcasts are going to be awesome. I love podcasts. I love talking, and I don't want to say this out of like, but I'm good at talking. Like I'm really good at just talking. That's not something you got to believe. I've got a lot of videos. You can go see what I'm talking about when I'm talking. But the point is, I love podcasts, and so they're going to be big, and I don't want them to ever be trying to push anything, ever, not at all. Universal truth of the universal human design that doesn't change, hasn't changed, and won't change, just like our living God, Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever, because we are designed in his image. We don't change. So no matter what clothing goes or comes or what, it's still just got to sit on the body the way the body works. Okay, so yeah, human beings will not change, no matter what you try to do. No matter what kind of injections you get into your body or any kind of like thing you're trying to alter yourself, well, you're altering yourself. And we want to stay how we were built, regardless of what that looks like. I always talk about that. You're missing parts of your body, you got deformity. Dude, that's you. Dude meaning man or woman. We're how we are. That's all we got to do is allow ourselves in our state, because we were designed in the way we were supposed to be, no matter what that looks like for any of us, right? I've had my own things, right? I got some understanding about physical health stuff and physical workings of the body, right? And I do, and I've talked about it, but we'll talk about it more. The point being, we can't alter ourselves. You can get all the injections and the whatever you want, implants and blah, blah, blah. I don't care how accusations that sounds. And I don't mean that out of an insensitive way, but I don't care, because we only work how we work. You put those things in your body, you do those things to yourself to try to alter yourself, and, well, yeah, it just doesn't. People have complications from that kind of stuff because it's unnatural. We just want to be natural, right? So, yeah, I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but, I mean, we can't alter ourselves. I mean, you can do it, but just like how I say we shouldn't have to stretch, well, why I say that is because saying that we can't tell our bodies what to do, I say you can go try and do it all you want, but then you can have fun with your foam roller and your stretching routines. Or you can just leave your body in its working position within your own situation, and it'll just do its thing. You don't have to stretch, you don't have to foam roll. And again, these aren't claims, these are things that we'll see. The bigger we get as a company, the more information of truth we get out there, people will be like, oh yeah, he's right. I'm not just saying stuff here. That's why I get a little bit stern when I say stuff that I say. Okay, so I just want to be very clear on that. This is never, ever, even again, after I die or whatever it happens, if somebody else is running this company, it's not me at one point, in the Image Clothing Company, we're not going to ever try to push anything. We're not going to have some beliefs on anything. We're going to talk about universal truth. And the thing with the truth, as it says in doctrine, in Holy Scripture, in the Holy Bible, in the Book of Mormon, real, true stories of our living God, Jesus Christ himself, as it says, people take truth to be hard. All right, that's fine, okay? I have at times and places in my life. Truth is unchanging though, so it doesn't matter how you react to it, as long as we're really sticking to like this is true and it applies to everybody, or at least just about, because if we're talking about the way that an ankle works and somebody doesn't even have legs, hey, that's fine if you don't have legs, but then like it just, you know what I mean. We're just being real here, okay? And sometimes being real gets people upset. All right, it's gonna happen, okay? People are gonna get upset, that's fine, but you got to hear what we're saying. Again, it's not about me, but we as a company, because all we as a company in the Image Clothing Company will do is just relay truth. I've always talked about how truth is apart from us, right? Truth is like over here, and then I'm over here just talking about it and sharing it, right? Okay? So, not a single human could ever be perfect at their like delivery of truth, right? As far as like, let's say there's a story that happened, like something that took place, and there's like 5 people who witnessed it, and they go tell this story. If they're telling it to the best of their ability on exactly how it happened, their stories might be a little bit different, right? But they're still telling the truth of what happened. We're humans, we're not perfect, none of us, not I, nor he, nor she, goes for every human, okay? But there really is truth about the way that the body operates, right? So, I just want to be very clear. We're not being accusations here. That goes for me or anybody at the company ever. I mean, people might say stuff on accident, and people might get upset and try to, whatever. But when we're talking about stuff, the way the body works and how it only works, how it works, I mean, you can go get an actual expert who has a deep actual understanding, not who just read a textbook, but somebody who really knows that you can trust the human body, and then, they'll say the same things we're saying, is what I'm saying, okay? So, we're not trying to push something here. I'm not trying to have a belief that I'm trying to like, hey, listen to this. I mean, I don't even want beliefs, because all beliefs is just you're trying to decide what you want to be true, and we can't do that. Truth is truth, period and done. It's apart from every single one of us, and it does not change. Okay, I just want to be so clear. This is going to be a big company. We're going to do big things. We're going to make some big disruptions, okay, but in a good way, out of a lot of these misconceptions about people thinking they need this thing and that thing and those other things and all these routines and this doctor and this and that and surgeries and to try to get their body to work. I mean, the vast majority of the time, it's the thing that's physically on your physical person. And I mean, up until this point today, I've already made enough videos and gone into such depth on all the things that I talk about within clothing to where there is no dispute. There is none. There couldn't be. So you just got to hear what we're actually saying. People, if you're hearing it for the first time, might get upset and stuff, but that's why I talk about within our podcast, within any kind of like discussions that we do have in any way, anytime we're like having any kind of like meetup, whatever it is, right? We need to try our best to be kind to each other, because that's usually how it is. When you hear truth for the first time and it's kind of different than what you thought was going on, people normally have a pretty harsh reaction to it, okay? They get defensive over their beliefs. I've gotten defensive over my beliefs in the past, but we don't want beliefs, we want truth, okay? So, apart from us, does not change. The gospel of Jesus Christ, human body is designed in the image of Jesus Christ. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and doesn't change its workings. We have our very specific personal situations. We will always recognize those things. We will always try to be, I want to say this in the right way, but like sensitive toward those things, but in the sense of understanding toward those things. Not sensitive like we're going to stop saying something because somebody's getting offended on it. No. If the body's working the way the body's working, which it always does and always will, we're just going to talk about that, okay? And it's going to be harsh for some people who have been going to doctors, for example, and they're like, no, my doctor said this, I have to. Oh, I don't care what your doctor said. And I mean that out of love, because we're going to give you such an easy, I want to say solution, but at least way to like on a huge level relieve what you're going through. That's free, right? You don't even have to buy our clothing. That's what I'm saying. Things within your own clothing, we're giving free, always will give free information and modifications you can do within your own clothing. Universal truth to help your body, okay? So again, at In the Image Clothing Company, we are so much more than just a clothing company. We are here to help the body work the way it was designed to, without spending money, without altering it, without adding things, but taking things away. Because that's probably goes without saying, but I'm going to say it to be clear. Any and all modifications that I have ever shown, being the founder, me, Evan Strong, of In the Image Clothing Company, up until this point, to do within clothing to allow the body to work, it's only taking things away. I have never, ever, not once said to add anything, okay? So, and that's, you know, being a minimal clothing company brand at the same time, that's the same thing. We're taking things away, right? It's always taking things away. We're not, I can't say ever, but we're you know, pretty much gonna never tell you anything you gotta add. We're gonna say take things away. Get down to the basics of the body as it is and as it was designed to work, and it will within our own situations, okay? So, yes. Yeah. All right. I think that's good. I want to be very, very, very clear that people are going to get offended, and I know it. Cool. And that's not an insensitive cool. That's like the only reason we're doing this is to help people. And we're trying to do it with zero opinions of our own within it, okay? They're going to be there because we're humans. We're not perfect. None of us. Only Jesus Christ himself is perfect. But that's exactly what we're doing, is getting our body back to its foundation that he designed, okay? So, even if it doesn't quite look how you think that yours should, or work how you think that yours should, right? Okay, so, with that being said, In the Image Clothing Company, we do have our official domain. It is just InTheImageClothingCompany.com as of today, the date that I said. The website is not quite up and running, but it will be. And we will have minimal clothing. We will, okay? I don't want to put the focus on the clothing, because this is more of a community, more of a, yeah, it's more of that than like, hey, we're selling clothing, okay? But it's gonna be great. When I say minimal, I think that's a thing. I kind of get a little bit caught up on it, like within myself, when I say minimal clothing company, because we're gonna have designs, like it's gonna be cool, but we're just not gonna have our logos ever on the exterior. No branding, no logo, nothing on the exterior, because I am a clothing designer, right? So I'm not just going to be making clothing, like leading this company. I'm not just going to be like, all right, let's make it as minimal as we possibly can. No, we're going to make it cool. It's going to look really great. So there might be some like design style choices within it, but not to like, you know, represent something as far as worldly things, right? Because that's actually, when I say minimal, that's really what I mean, is we don't have any kind of worldly thing that we will have on the exterior to be representing, but we're representing our living God, who is Jesus Christ, by allowing the body that we've been given to work. Okay, that's what our designs will do at In the Image Clothing Company, is allow the body to be the proof of what really who we're representing, which is our God, right? Because he designed the body. We can design all the clothing we want. In X amount of time, it'll decompose into the earth, and so will our bodies. But we need to let them work the way that he designed them. If he created us and he put us here to do whatever it is that we in our own cases are here to do, we need to let it just do it, and at least not be like the ones restricting it and inhibiting it, right? So yeah, that's also probably good to kind of clear up. When I say minimal, I mean, we might have some pretty cool designs, but as far as fabric cuts, right? No kind of anything else like added to it. Just like the cuts of the fabric, the way that it's, you know, designed. It'll be cool. So yeah, 100% natural materials, as I've stated from the very beginning. The body's natural. It will mesh very well with things that are also natural being placed directly on it, okay? Because just that alone is a big reason why a lot of modern clothing is so damaging to the body. Even if the design is like pretty great, actually, right? Just somebody else's clothing you purchased and it sits on your body pretty well. You know, you don't have tags protruding, all the things, and seams where I say that I know as the universal human is designed, right? Where the seams need to sit and stuff. If you have that, if it's made out of man-made materials, a lot of times the materials are just as big of a deal as where it sits on the body, or even more, right? So that's what it's gonna look like. Yeah, it's a good video, good kind of like almost disclaimer type of video, right? Because we're not gonna be here beating around the bush and trying to accommodate for everybody's like beliefs on stuff. No, because we're not trying to accommodate for our own beliefs as leading this company ever either. No, we're just speaking on, discussing truth, sharing, delivering to the best of our sinful abilities as the humans that we are, truth, which is apart from all of us, right? The body in its natural design, the way that it works, skeletal system wise, okay? Fat content comes and goes, muscle mass comes and goes. You can be the biggest bodybuilder on the earth. You stop working out, and a few months later, it's like you look like an average person, okay? The skeletal system. All right, it's a position, and everything operates out of there. The musculature system of the body can't do anything besides hinge and pivot and move the skeletal system. So it needs to be in the proper position without being pulled out of it, right? We're designed to be in one position, and from there we hinge, we pivot, we move, okay? I've gone over this, I've discussed this, I've shown it within my own personal body, and I'm not different than anybody else, right? As far as the workings, okay? Yes, please hear what we say here, and don't just hear what you want to hear or whatever. And that's, you know, I'm not trying to like, again, I'm not trying to be accusations with anything like that, but yeah. So anyway, In the Image Clothing Company is now officially I want to say community, right? I mean, yes, it is a company, and yes, we will have clothing that we sell made out of 100% natural materials. We will have clothing. It will come, okay? No doubt. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be big. I keep saying that, right? And I don't say that. It's not about me being, yeah, no. But I know personally, within just like the few people within my family that I've shown certain things within clothing with, and I know within my own personal body. Again, if you see any photos, videos of me back before I started doing these type of things within the clothing that I do, which has just been about a year and a half, right? From this point back, my body never operated, at least maybe when I was a little kid, right? I talked about how we come into this world and we're unaltered, and then we get very much altered if we aren't intentional, and then we can get back to our natural state. So my body, like throughout the majority of my life, right, didn't work naturally because of exterior things, okay? Clothing. So you can see how it works now. Video documentation within this time period right here. I said the date in here. That's what I want for everybody. Within our own abilities, within our own situations, we can function so much better. We just need the knowledge. We need the understanding, right? It's not really about knowledge. It's about the understanding. It's about getting to know our own bodies. Because that's the thing. And that's what I was talking about toward the beginning of this video, is you can go read all the textbooks you want, have all the knowledge you want about anything, not just the human body, but anything ever. But if you don't understand it, then knowledge doesn't really do you any good, right? Just spouting out facts and stuff, that doesn't really do any good. Do you actually understand what's going on? And I personally do, okay, within the human body, because of my own personal experience and me getting to this point, right? And then founding this company, In The Image Clothing Company. And so we're always going to be about truth here, okay? All right, so again, my name, not that it's about me, but I am Evan Strong. I founded this company, In The Image Clothing Company. We are and always will be so much more than just a clothing company. It is not about sales here. It is about the human body in the way that it was designed by our living God, Jesus Christ, and just allowing it to work, okay? So that's how we will always be. That's what we will always focus on. We will have more than just selling things. We will have discussions. We will have podcasts. We will have all the things. When I say all the things, I don't mean we're just gonna have everything you could ever think of. I just mean it's pretty much anything geared around the body in its natural workings, okay? And just allowing it to do that by taking things away rather than adding things. We're not going to be adding things to the body. The body is what it is by itself, and it's great that way. No matter, again, what yours is, looks like, how tall, short, whatever, that's right? Okay, all right. Don't want to be redundant, but I want to make this very clear. I want this to be, like I talk about with some of these videos that I've made, a very timeless video. Someone's got a problem with something in the future, come back. This is like the foundation of this company, right? This week here is when this became an actual company. So like I'm saying, no matter how far down the road anybody's saying something, thinking about something, reacting to something, come back to this. I am the one who founded this, and this is what I'm saying at the very beginning, okay? So we are all imperfect, as in not perfect. And we have to rely on our God if we want to do anything. And that goes before we were even able to have the opportunity to do anything, because he created us, okay? So it goes for every single one of us human beings, and this is how it's all gonna look, okay? As far as the company of In The Image Clothing Company. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I said it, but I want to be very clear. This shirt does not quite fit me, okay? So yeah, okay, I'm aware of that. I was aware of that before I came over here. It's also probably 75, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, which I'm not really sure exactly why. I just felt like I was supposed to wear this over here. So I'm talking bold claims that are true about where the clothing should fit, and I'm aware that the shirt that I'm currently wearing isn't fitting how the human body universally works, okay? I'm just trying to be real, okay? This whole thing, this whole time, this whole everything, again, even if quite a ways down the line, it's not even run by me anymore, In The Image Clothing Company as a company is about truth. It's about unchanging truth, okay? All right, to the best of our abilities, that's what it's gonna be, always, okay? All right. yeah. So, okay, cool. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is a heavy video. I know how I can sound when it sounds accusations, it sounds bold, it sounds whatever. But again, you can think what you want about it. I can think what I want about it. But as long as what we're talking about is correct, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who gets upset. It doesn't matter who gets offended, even if it's me, right? I mean, that's got to be hit hard. That's just how it's going to be, because people are so used to thinking they have to do things to get their body to work. No, we got to stop doing things that alter our bodies, okay? It's actually really on the other end, the easier, quote unquote, side, okay? So, yeah. And I want to be transparent about myself too, about my own body. I've talked about, I've had some major surgeries, I've had things go on with my own body, right? Yeah, I want to talk about that, and we'll get into it, podcasts and stuff, right? We'll talk about it later. I was born with certain conditions that were out of my control, right? A lot of heart stuff, mostly, right? 2 full-on open heart surgeries, some other heart surgeries, 6 in total. Right? I'm not making accusations because like I have this what seems like a perfect body, and like I'm, no. I've been through stuff, okay? And that's why this company's founded. So, yeah, there's got to be a lot of understanding within all of this, within the whole community, within everybody, whoever's talking about anything with anybody else. I mean, I guess I'll share some more things here. I've shared them before, but I want to incorporate it in this video because I don't want to sound accusatious. I really am coming from a place of understanding. I'm choking up, and so I don't know how much of it is this darn collar seam that I've talked about, but I still wear this shirt. It's also too big. I understand. I had pain in my knees, pain in my shoulders, going to physical therapy to try to relieve that stuff. It never really worked, but now it's pretty much gone. You've seen me sit in a complete full deep low squat quite a bit if you've seen the videos that I've posted. You see the mobility that I have within my shoulders, things like this. Yeah, I mean, I've been through it. I want that, me being the founder of this thing, me saying all these things that sound so like accusatious, it's got to be heard correct, because I have come from a very, not so functional place, we'll say, at times in my life. And that's why I have to be so bold, because I was told I needed more things, right? More surgeries, more medications. I was told that I had to keep working on my body in this way and that way. No. I had to just take all the things away that were altering it. Personal experience, all right? And that's what kind of like, I don't know if I want to use the word qualifies, but like, in a sense, like qualifies me or allows me to be the leader of this company, the founder of this company, because I've seen it from all ends, personal experience wise, right? I've had the pain, I've had major surgeries, I've had my body in places where it just was barely functioning, like I go to school in junior high and high school, sometimes like I'd have to lower myself down with my hands just to even sit in a chair, and now you can see what my body does, okay? No sales pitch, no nothing. Again, we're taking things away here. This is truth, universal truth, apart from me, that I have, been able to learn, and that I'm just sharing with people. So, and it's not about me doing it, right? But that's why I'm founding a company. That's why we have what is now In The Image Clothing Company. So much more than just a clothing company. I mean, you don't have to buy our clothing ever. We're just trying to get the body to work, okay? The way that it's designed, the way that ours is, okay? Our own specific personal one. All right, I mean, yeah. I want to be very clear, want to be very thorough. I want it to be heard correct. I say some things sometimes that, man, and then me, myself, also, I'm a very bold person. I'm very, very driven, got really strong willpower. I don't give in to stuff. I'm pretty like, tell it how it is kind of guy. And so sometimes I do come across pretty harsh, but only out of love, only out of like, just don't dismiss this before you try it, because it is true, and so I'm gonna kind of like pound it in your head almost, right? You know what I mean? I hope. So when I say I hope, I just mean I don't want people getting upset, right? I'm not trying to upset people, but it will. truth always upsets people. Okay? And that's just how it's gonna be, and that's not on us, because if we're speaking truth, it's true. Okay? All right, cool. So, yes, like I said, as of today, not when you're seeing this video necessarily, but the date that I said in this video, as of today, this date, the website isn't actually up and running, but it is officially InTheImageClothingCompany.com. That's where you will always be able to go for anything In The Image Clothing Company wise, right? Not just to purchase things. There's going to be a lot more, and depending on when you're seeing this, there might already be a lot to it as far as, you know, stuff going on. So yeah, okay, I love this video. I'm grateful for this video, because this needs to be very, very, very apparent of like what my actual approach is to all this and what I'm actually saying. Okay, not just me, but the morals, the values, the standards, the truth being Jesus Christ himself, that this company, In The Image Clothing Company, is founded on and will always be. Okay, so thank you. I will state the date one more time to close this out. I said it right at the very beginning. It is the 25th of September 2024. So, okay, timeless video. Come back to this. You got questions, you got problems, you got upset about something, come back to this. Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, I'm gonna close this out. Yeah, I wanted to be very clear that we are selling clothing. It's going to be awesome. I mean, because even personally, I don't want to have to modify every item of clothing that I purchase. And up until today, meaning, you know, as of now, everything that I've purchased from anybody, just because of the universal human design, because of the way that the body works, I have had to modify it in some form, just to allow my body to not be restricted by it. And there's some things that are really great, as far as all that I had to do was like cut a tag out of like the rear of a shirt, right? Some shirts are pretty good, right? I'm not trying to like say that we're just so good compared to everybody else, but we're just gonna leave out the things, again, taking things away that we don't need, that are actually altering the body. Okay, within our designs, In The Image Clothing Company clothing, it's just gonna be simple. When I say minimal, again, the designs as far as fabric cuts might be pretty cool, but minimal, like we only put in there what we need in there, unless we are doing a little bit to, you know, style it up with some designs. We're not about style as much as we are about function, but we might get kind of stylish too at the same time. Okay, all right. So the point is, though, and I've said this before, anything that we do ever to add style, we will never do anything that will restrict the body's natural motion, okay? Natural movements, natural pivot points, hinge points, right? And I personally know quite a bit about the natural function of the human body. You don't have to believe that. Go within these videos that I have made and you can see it, right? I've discussed it all in great depth. I've shown it. My own personal body works in great depth. I can describe things on my own body and positions, and I know it. Not that I like am an anatomy expert, right? But I know the body very, 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 very well. And it's just so much simpler than most doctors will discuss it, because again, if you know why these patternings that are just, I mean, it's almost always the same patterning in the same parts of the body, and if you know why, which is, truthfully, not out of my opinion, it is because of clothing, modern clothing. It is, no doubt, no dispute. If you see it, then you see it. So, okay, this is a good packed video. I love it. I'm very grateful, because, yeah, I'm not just some kid who thinks I know what's going on and I want to sell some clothes. No, it's gonna be a big deal out of truth. Okay, so yes, I want to make it all apparent too, that we know, not that we know everything. I mean, if we don't know things, we're gonna admit it, and we need help. All of us do need more understanding that other people have on things higher level than us. And but what I mean is, we really understand what needs to happen here at In The Image Clothing Company to just allow the body to stop being restricted. Okay, we really do. Okay, so there's still more we can learn. Always, we need deeper understandings of things. Always, I mean, like, I've never designed clothing up until now, right? I mean, so like, there's things we have to learn, but as far as like what we're really doing, we're gonna stick to it as it is, okay? All right, cool. So, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who you're getting this information from. Again, that's the thing. It's not just like because of me as the founder. It's not just because of the company as a company. It's, like I said, this is just information that we're relaying and giving, right? This information could come from somebody over, like, across the pond, I like to say, but like a different continent, right? This could come from any part of the globe. All human beings structurally work the same, okay? It's not about us. It's definitely not about me. It's just, this is truth. And we're just relaying the information. I want it to be so clear. We don't have opinions that we're trying to push. We do not. And going forward for the future of this company, as I said, if it's not me running it at one point, that's how it's always going to be. No opinions. No. We're just giving actual, this is really what's going on. Now, I mean, if we do, like, within podcasts and stuff, if we're talking about what we, I don't know. I don't want to get, like, you know, I mean, we're humans, right? We're humans, but yeah. So anyway, now I'm really gonna wrap it up. I know that I keep saying that, but I just want to be very clear with all of this, not to cover myself. I mean, I can say whatever I want as a human being, right? But if I'm trying to say that we're saying stuff that's true, well, we're always going to be able to have it be true as far as any human on any part of the globe can do these things within their own body, within their own clothing. They don't have to purchase anything and find that these things are true. This is not a claim of, especially not of mine, and not of In The Image Clothing Company as a company or as an organization, as a community. It is just what it is, and we're just sharing it, okay? All right, I think that's clear enough. I mean, I've hit this and hit this and hit this to the point where it's how it is, okay? Not because I'm saying it, but like, that's how our company will always be, founded on actual truth. Undisputed, applies to everybody, except for the things, like I said, if you don't even have a part of the body that we're talking about, well, that's your situation, that's fine. But, okay, truth, universal, undisputed, every human, okay? All right, thank you. InTheImageClothingCompany.com. In The Image Clothing Company is a community. It is not just a clothing company. A lot of free information. It's not about sales, although we will be selling clothing, and I do have to make a living, okay? And everybody at the team, whoever's working, we got to make a living. But yes, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Timeless video. Again, I'm the one who founded this thing. Evan Strong. Don't come at me if you got a problem. Don't come at me. Don't be like, well, we heard you say this in a video. Okay, if you heard me say it in a video, find out for yourself what I actually said. Don't come at me, please. Just because I don't want to have arguments. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm not trying to prove anything. We'll do things that will prove that things are what they are, but it's not like our things we're proving. We're saying this is true, and we'll prove that it's true, but it could be that guy or this girl or anyone proving that it's true, okay? All right, thank you. Stick around. In The Image Clothing Company, our clothing will be awesome. I mean, it will be awesome. Trust me. And not because you're trusting me, but just all the things that I've said, all the things that I've shown, the universal way the human body works, we just need to let it do that. And like I said, when I say trust me, I mean, I'm not gonna even let us make clothing that doesn't work well because I need it to work well for my body too, okay? So, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, so, thank you.